Okay, this is going to be a walkthrough of the brand new FHIR adapter, which we've just released as part of OIC Healthcare Edition. So I'm going to go ahead here and open up my integration, which I need to edit. And in this case, I've written most of this integration, and I've already implemented here a update FHIR server use case, but I still need to implement my insert new patient use case. So let's do that as part of this demo. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add an adapter. In this case, I'm going to add a connection to Millennium. This is a connection to Millennium Server FHIR APIs. We're going to call this insert. So I'm creating a new step called insert patient. And we can see here that the wizard for the FHIR adapter is asking me, what is it that I want to do? Do I want to do a create, read, update, delete? Or do I want to do a search a FHIR resource? At this point, we're going to choose create. So now it asks me which resource do I want to operate on. I can choose the resource. All of the out-of-the-box FHIR resources are listed here. But in my case, I actually want to choose patient because we're inserting a patient. Now it's asking me which interaction do I want. So I want to interact. Do I want to do an update, read, delete, or create? I want to do a create. And next it's asking me to configure how the headers will behave for this FHIR call. So I can configure the request headers. These are the headers that I can send in with the request. Or I can configure and specify which headers I want the response to contain. So I don't need to do anything special for the request, but I do need to specify something specifically for the response. So I'm going to click standard here. And I'm now going to hit continue. And this is where it's going to give me a chance to configure the response headers that I said. So I want to go ahead and add a response header, and I can then choose which response header it is that I want to add. I'm going to add location, and I'm going to add a second one, and I'm going to add content location. So it's created here my patient invoke for me automatically, and it's automatically created a map for me. And obviously this map step is where I would need to go and do my mapping to load this patient object before we can save it. So on the right hand side, you can see I'm clicking. This is exposed the patient object for me, which is my payload, which we're going to send into Millennium. And on the left-hand side, of course, is the source data that I'm going to map into it. And in this case, that source data is a HL7 file. So I can go ahead now and map patient details from here into my target. For example, we'd map ID and name and various things. A simple one, sex would go to gender. Once you've completed your mapping, you can exit the mapper and we can save our integration. We could stop there, but as I said before, what I want to do now is confirm that patient resource was created successfully. So after I've done the insert here, I'm going to go ahead and add another invoke, and this time it's going to be a read. So I'm going to choose the Millennium connection again. This time I'm going to read the patient. So I'll call it read patient. And so I'm going to choose create, read, update again. This time I'm going to choose the read operation on patient. I'm going to hit continue and finish. So now it's inserted the invoke to do the read for me. I need to configure the map. And in this case, the input for reading a patient is an ID. And if you remember, I said when we did the insert patient, that I told you the ID for the resulting object comes back in the headers. So I'll come back here to headers. I can find the standard headers that we return. And I know from reading the Millennium documentation that content location contains the ID of the new patient we just created. So I'm going to take that and map that into ID of my read API call. So let's go ahead and save that. And that concludes the demo of how to use the new FHIR adapter in OIC.